All right, so let's get the introductions going this time because we've done like 2 without introducing ourselves. I'm Omar Holmon.
I'm Nicole.
Will, what's up?
The guest hater.
I am the guest hater.
Tonight, Get Out from Jordan Peele.
Which I made everyone go see because, so if it was bad, it was going to be all on me. Because I was like, yo, we're going to go see this.
We didn't see Lego Batman last week. It was really all that it boiled down to.
Yeah. It's a horror movie. We thought it was going to originally be like a comedy, like a horror movie disguised as comedy or comedy disguised
Y'all
as
thought it was
horror
going to be
movie.
comedy because of the writer and the history. But I remember the very first preview when it debuted. I want to say I was around you when that trailer debuted. And I was like,
God.
I was like, oh my God,
that's
what is this? And so basically, Get Out is it's a horror film.
Yeah,
where
with moments of levity, with true moments of levity.
Absolutely, good writing in that aspect. But it's a horror film, specifically a horror film for black people.
Yeah.
Yes.
It takes like all like the nuances of like the white suburbs and everything, and all the fucking I guess those little microaggressions. It's a horror. It's built on all these microaggressions. Oh, then we're gonna move to macroaggressions, and then what's above macroaggressions? Like what's the next?
Trumpian aggressions.
We're gonna progressions.
The microaggressions were the realest shit.
Yeah.
There's a moment, and we don't even know the purpose of it at the time. There's a moment in the movie where the protagonist Chris. So we can give that basic premise, right? So Chris is his girlfriend. He's meeting her parents for the first time after 4 months. Okay, whatever. Hey, you do
red flag.
You do whatever you need to do in your relationship. But I'm gonna tell you right now, 4 months, and she's like, we gotta go somewhere to go meet my parents.
Far off.
I'm like,
Skype.
Can we at least can we get 6?
Skype.
Yeah, Skype technology is wonderful for us. It's here. There was a particular moment in the movie where Chris is being introduced to all these people that are friends of the family, and just a bunch of guests at the house, and this woman grabs his arm, and it it is obviously like invested in the specimen that is Chris.
Yeah.
And for me, as from athlete and as just a big black guy who spends a lot of time in corporate environments, like that's real as fuck, right? Like that is the spectacle of someone like marveling at your size as a person and then actually wanting to like make contact with you. That part, there's a lot of parts that messed me up, but that part I was like, oh my god, like I was like reverted back into myself because I could feel that. And what I also liked about the movie, and not to give any spoilers, but there was no wasted motion. Like everything that had a sparking point or like something that was important at the time was kind of circularly was very important later on, right? So like the trauma that Chris experienced and that came back to play a part, like something that kind of almost broke the movie wide open when he's noticing all these weird things. Like that mechanic came back to play at the very end as well. So I did like how there was it was very tightly wound in terms of like there was nothing throwaway. Like everything had a purpose.
There's a big part of like, okay, well, because it's an interracial relationship that Chris is in, and so his girlfriend is white, right? And then like me and the parents like, do they know I'm black? Why would that matter? And that delves into like a huge like, here instance why it matters because of all these little they would be microaggressions still later on that they don't know that that is indirectly affecting him and whatnot. And it kind of goes to show like even like everybody want to be an ally, but don't nobody want to be an ally. And that was to say they want to ally. Sometimes there are certain ways to ally, right?
But also, fucking someone black don't make you an ally.
Actually.
Like is the other thing too that I think that this movie did a really good job of highlighting. Like I'm gonna take you home. No, I in no way warned my parents. Like because she. In theory, Rose is the girl's name, of course, because selfish white girls are named Rose in movies. There was room on that plank.
There was always
He didn't have to die. Like, he
There's
didn't have
always
to die.
room.
Nope.
Like, she just set him up, and she should if you were in any way self-aware about race, you should have known that that's a conversation that you at least need to broach.
Right.
So the fact, like, that was a very odd thing I thought in the movie.
And I think
intentionally so.
Right, intentionally so.
Intentionally so.
And I think, it's not a spoiler because I think it was in the trailer where, you know, my dad would have voted for Obama if there was a third term. And like, so that's almost, the variations of that are almost like a rallying cry, right? In terms of like, very, you know, I'm not racist because, you know, I voted for Obama kind of shit. And so like that was key. That was very smart writing and very cringeworthy, but intentionally so. What was amazing to me in terms of like how the writing and everything is that it really didn't, and of course there's a ramp up in the movie and everything, but like towards like the second or third act, it really wasn't hyperbolic. Like these are very concrete examples of microaggressions and very, you know, it's kind of weird to phrase it this way, but naturalistic speech that I'm used to hearing. So even though they seemed absurd, because they were, it was things that was very easy to recognize, and it wasn't a big leap from what is kind of everyday conversation. And I think anybody that's comes from a marginalized community that is in communities, you know, whether it be work or whatever, that are predominantly white, like you can identify with so much of this, right? And so I wonder if a predominantly white audience sits there and thinks like, oh, that's a lot. Or that wouldn't happen like that. And like,
I hope they're like, oh, I said that.
Exactly.
That's
what I
think.
think.
I hope that they have.
I don't do it like that though. I'm different because why? Why are you different, Ted?
When I touch your shoulder to size you up like
I
we're at a
massage.
butcher shop,
I
I mean
massage.
that is a compliment. Like, yeah, that's
I come in with the undertuck. That's security right there. This is invasion security. That's a whole nother thing.
But I don't know if it's realistic to think that they will have that experience, but that's what I hope, and I imagine that's part of what the writer intended.
Right.
I mean, because hopefully we have essentially what is a dual address, that we have two different audiences experiencing the same thing in two entirely different ways. So the Bechdel test has to have at least two women who talk to each other about something other than a man. The racial Bechdel test, which is like a take on that, is it has to have at least two people of color who talk to each other about something other than a white person. So does it pass that?
It's pretty close.
It's that gray area.
If you count the conversation, you know, there's a conversation. This is not really much more like in the very near the beginning because Rod is watching the dog while they're away. So the conversation starts that way.
Like the dog is blonde, so there's
the dog is quite blonde.
I thought it was a brown dog.
No,
Nah.
But I also don't know that. I mean, and this is the failure of those tests, is I don't think that it matters in this case.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I don't think that it's of consequence. Really.
There was never a time, you know, obviously by the main protagonist and everything, and what was the central point of this movie in terms of like this tension around, you know, what is this race relation, you know, with this family and the protagonist. So because of that, because of those things being in the forefront, then it may not matter because there was never any erasure. There was never any kind of anything that, you know, Chris and his dilemma didn't take a back seat to anything.
Yeah.
And I felt like the other characters that were involved were prominent enough and important enough to the plot and everything that I think it would not necessarily matter in this situation.
And that is the biggest.
Not like that. Everything else was bad, but yo, if I go to give a brother a pound and he gives me the claw, it might be time to go. It might be time to go. Like we're going from the claw to baby, where the keys at? Because like something's not right. Right, like something is not okay, right? And it might be something. It might be in the air. Like I don't really right? Like, I don't know where he came from, but I know in the space that we occupied together, he gave me the claw on the pound. It's time to go. It's time to go.
It's Inspector Gadget. He gave me that. No,
I have no desire to stay.
So then, give me the out of claws. Then out of claws. The magic should be out of clawdaps. What? Out of clawdaps.
Saddest phrase ever.
It's out of clawdaps. I'll give it. I'll give that like a 9.5. Man, I'll give that a 9.5. A 9.5 clawdaps out of 10.
I was gonna say 8.5. 8.5.
I'm gonna go with 9. I'm gonna split the difference. I think it's 9. I think I thought it was excellent.
Yes.
In the way it was done. I think it made me feel uncomfortable.
Yep.
The way, like, I didn't feel uncomfortable because I felt like someone was messing something up that, like, irked me a certain way. Like, it was very intentional.
It's supposed to be.
And I'm really hoping that, I think just by the buzz of it,
Got that
that
perfect 100.
that he's going to get more opportunity to, and I think I want to see him even press the envelope a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think the reason I would give it a 9 is I know maybe it's paying homage, but there's still, like, Chris, the protagonist, who's super likable, right? Who basically, especially for the very black and brown audience that we just saw this movie with, is very much we're in the vehicle, you know, with him, right? So like everything he's experiencing, it feels like the audience was experiencing, you know, the way we saw it tonight. But he still did stupid shit. Like outside of, you know, I know that's a movie horror trope, right?
Yeah.
Outside of like some of the stuff they were like, oh no, like for instance, like the calling up, like you gotta get out of there. But like some stuff is like, you know, if you're on a creepy estate where you think things aren't going up, maybe not wander into the woods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
At night. Man.
At night. But you know what I'm saying? So I think there's some there it wasn't a perfect film, but it was excellent. Excellent to me.
See, I have to go lower than the rest of you because there were some characters without spoilers that, to me, at the close of the movie, I had a lot of questions about why they acted the way that they acted throughout the movie.
Sure.
But during the movie, I was like, this is great. And then we got to resolution. I was like,
I go with the 9.5. That man, that backstory on Chris, man. I'm like, you got me. That loss, you got me.
Locked you in.
Too many
You
feelings.
got me.
Nah.
You got me. I look at the feelings from my fucking weather balloon. Whatever the fuck. Was
Drifting
that?
way up
Yeah.
here.
Unless
Way
the
up here.
feelings are
I'm like-
enclosed in ice. I don't want to.
I'm like, that looks nice. We're gonna go too close. A little higher. All right, so it was an overall joyous experience watching Get Out, and we do like to see more of it.
Yeah.